Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to show you what you can grow in November. If you've not already subscribed to my channel, if you could please do so, because you'll get lots of helpful hints and tips all throughout the year from my home garden, my allotment and also my home kitchen. Now the reality is there isn't as much you can be growing this time of year, but there are still plenty of things you can be to keep you busy and to feed you. So one of the things I've already put in, probably about a month or so ago, in fact it wasn't probably a month, it was probably only about 3 weeks probably, is my garlic. So if you've not already planted garlic, this is something I've grown for many years. I love growing my own garlic. It's incredibly easy and cheap to do. The garlic I've planted is what I grew last year. So they do say that if you grow the same garlic in the same piece of in the same area, that it gets used to the climate and it grows better. So we will see how that happens. If you've not already got your garlic, then a good garden centre I would recommend. I wouldn't buy from a supermarket because you don't know whether it's for the right climate. You don't know what country it's come from. You want ones that are right for this climate basically, and they do vary. So that's my garlic. I use garlic a lot in many dishes and it keeps really well, so that's another really good benefit of growing your own garlic. I'm still eating mine that I grew from last year. Here are my onion sets that are going to be overwintering. So again, that's something, if you've not sowed already, these have only been in a few weeks, that's something you can be getting in. Again, get them from a good garden centre. I've got a mixture of white, red and brown onions there, so a real mixture, so that'd be really good. Now onions are incredibly versatile. You put them in so many dishes, so it's really worth getting plenty of onions in. And you can start, these don't crop much earlier than the other ones, but they will crop a little bit sooner, and it just means you've got more onions. If you're like me, I go through quite a lot with cooking. Probably most days I probably have an onion with something. I make my own coleslaw, that kind of thing, you know, on top of the normal stews and omelettes and all the other things that you put onions in. So something else you could be growing now are broad beans. Now you can either sow them straight into the ground or you can sow them under cover. The choice is yours. Personally, I'm not going to start any off. I have done in the past. Sometimes you can start them off in the spring as well. It's your choice. There are people on the allotment that have started their broad beans off on the allotment, and I've seen them already. So it is something you can be doing if you want to. Again, it gets you a much earlier crop if you do that. So it's a choice to do that. And something else you can be starting off are peas under cover. I've actually had some self-sow at home at the bottom of my garden. I'm going to be using mine just to put in salads, just as pea shoots. But again, it's up to you. If you wanted to try and overwinter them, you'd have to keep them in a warm place under cover. I'm just going to use them as pea shoots, and I'm going to sow some more actually under cover myself. Something else, if you've not done it, is overwintering lettuce. That's something that I've got started off at home, which is under cover at the moment. So you could grow overwintering lettuce. Of course, lettuce is useful all year round for various dishes. You know, apart from anything else, when you think of growing a few things yourself, it actually reduces plastic consumption down. So lettuces are one of the most kind of like abused things out there, because they're always in plastic and they're always washed with chemicals and things, whereas if you grow it yourself, you've got fresh organic salad leaves all year round. Another thing which I will have at home, I will have some herbs on my windowsill, so I can put them in my salads and my stews and various other dishes. An incredibly easy thing to do over winter if you've never done anything, because obviously you just keep it indoors. You might feel you're cheating a little bit because it's not outside and it's not on your allotment, but it's not really, because again it reduces your plastic use down, because you're using one pot to grow your food from, and it's incredibly useful to have fresh herbs, much nicer than when they're not fresh and come in a plastic bag. So something else that I do quite a lot in the winter is I sprout seeds, which are really simple to do. I've got a video on that, which you'll be able to find, but I might reshoot another one so you can look at that as well. You can use those for all sorts of things. You can have them in stews, salads, risottos. You can put them on all sorts of things, and they're highly nutritious and incredibly simple to do, and very expensive to buy already done. So really worth giving it a go, and it makes your food a little bit more interesting as well. So on those winter nights when you don't want to be out on the allotment, you've still got some fresh things that you can do. Another thing you could be doing is you could be growing mushrooms. Now obviously you must buy a specialist kit for this. I've grown mushrooms before and I've bought a little kit, and it's a really good fun thing to do during the winter. So that's something that you could source. There's lots of good, you can get them at garden centres and DIY stores, or you can order them online. You can grow quite unusual mushrooms, in fact. I had a friend that grew some really lovely ones last year, and they're absolutely fantastic. I think they're chanterelle, I think they were called, but they're really, really, really gorgeous. So there's a few ideas there. If there's anything that you're growing, that you grow every year, that grows really, really well, and that you start off in November, I'd be really interested to know, because I'm always looking for tips off other people. That's how we all learn. We all learn from each other. So I do hope this has given you lots of inspiration, and you're going to start a few things off in November. And any comments, please do put them, and we will do our best to answer them.